The film opens in a hospital in Tokyo, where a father named Yusukimura is seen sitting beside his son Wataru's bed. Wataru has just survived an attempted murder after being pushed from a rooftop while Yusukimura was away from his apartment. Yusukimura's father, known as the Elder, then arrives at the hospital and reminds his son that a father's duty is to protect his family. Hearing this makes Yusukimura feel useless, and he decides to go find the person responsible for pushing his son. Elsewhere, we are introduced to a contract killer named Ladybug. In this mission, Ladybug is assigned to replace an infamous hitman who is currently ill, known as Carver. Ladybug receives instructions from his handler, or mission coordinator, a woman named Maria Beetle. She assigns him to board a bullet train from Tokyo to Kyoto with the task of retrieving a suitcase containing $10 million marked with a train sticker on its handle. While Ladybug is walking through the station, he is accidentally bumped into by Yusukimura, causing his locker key and train ticket to fall to the ground. Forced to retrieve his equipment, Ladybug breaks into his locker and takes various mission supplies, including a handgun. However, he chooses not to take the gun and instead opts for a sedative. After boarding the train, Ladybug finds himself on the same route as Yusukimura. On the train, we are also introduced to twin assassins named Tangerine and Lemon. Despite appearing unrelated, they are partners working for a Japanese crime boss known as the White Death. Their mission is to protect White Death's son, known as Komar, in exchange for the same $10 million suitcase that Ladybug is also after. They are tasked with escorting Komar and the suitcase to the train's final destination in Kyoto. Tangerine explains White Death's background to Lemon. He was originally a Russian wanderer who later became the right-hand man of a Yakuza boss named Minagishi. However, he eventually betrayed Minagishi, forming his own organization and killing him. While watching over White Death's son, the twins argue about how many people they killed during the mission to rescue Komar 5 hours earlier. They believe the total is 16, but Tangerine insists it is 17, including a civilian who tried to help during the operation. In another carriage, Yusukimura finally discovers a clue about who pushed Wataru. He identifies the culprit as the Prince, who disguises herself as an innocent schoolgirl. This disguise successfully deceives Yusukimura, and the Prince manages to incapacitate him first. When Yusukimura wakes up, the Prince reveals that she deliberately pushed Wataru in order to lure him onto the train. She wants Yusukimura to find the suitcase containing $10 million and deliver it to White Death with the goal of killing him. The Prince also rigs a handgun with explosives, intending for Yusukimura to hand it to White Death. When White Death pulls the trigger, the gun will explode in his face. To force Yusukimura into cooperation, she reveals that she has an accomplice at the hospital who is ready to kill Wataru if he refuses to obey her orders. At this point, her true motives for wanting White Death dead remain unclear. In another carriage, Ladybug is stopped by a train conductor who asks to see his ticket. However, Ladybug does not have it, since it fell during his collision with Yusukimura. The conductor scolds him and tells him to get off at the next stop. Ladybug then searches through the passenger's luggage in the storage area. After searching for a while, he finally finds the suitcase containing $10 million, marked with a train sticker on its handle. Ladybug then leaves the carriage, passing by the twin assassins who are on a phone call with the White Death. During the call, the White Death instructs Tangerine and Lemon to retrieve the suitcase as payment for their mission. However, when Lemon checks, he discovers that the suitcase is already missing, having been taken by Ladybug. Afraid of getting into trouble with the White Death, Tangerine tells Lemon to say that the suitcase has been secured. After ending the call, Tangerine and Lemon decide to track down whoever stole it. The bullet train eventually arrives at its first stop. Ladybug prepares to get off while carrying the suitcase. However, before he can step out, he is confronted by another assassin known as the Wolf. It is revealed that the Wolf previously worked in a cartel under a powerful boss named El Saguaro. During his time in the cartel, he met the love of his life and quickly married her. Unfortunately, during their wedding celebration, all the guests were poisoned, including El Saguaro and the Wolf's wife. This leaves the Wolf devastated and enraged. He later investigates who poisoned his wife and discovers that the culprit was Ladybug, who coincidentally had been working as a waiter at the wedding. The Wolf then drags Ladybug back onto the train, and the two engage in a fight in the bar carriage. During the struggle, the Wolf's knife ricochets off the suitcase and ends up stabbing him in the chest, killing him. Ladybug covers the wolf's wound and hides the suitcase inside a drawer behind the bar. Afterward, he leaves to investigate why he is being targeted, as he insists he never poisoned the wolf's wife. Meanwhile, Lemon and Tangerine, while discussing the stolen suitcase, discover that Komar has already died from poisoning. They believe that the person who stole the suitcase is also responsible for Komar's death. Tangerine tells Lemon to stay with Komar's body while he goes to find the culprit. Shortly after Tangerine leaves, Ladybug deliberately approaches Lemon and threatens him. Ladybug recognizes Lemon, as they had previously crossed paths during a job in Johannesburg. Lemon then accuses Ladybug of poisoning White Death's son, but Ladybug denies the accusation. Ladybug then admits that he was the one who took the suitcase full of money. He offers Lemon a deal. He will hand over the suitcase in exchange for being allowed to leave peacefully. Lemon is somewhat inclined to accept the offer, but he points out that it makes no difference, since Komar is already dead. If he delivers a dead Komar to the White Death, he will still be killed. Finding the situation pointless and confusing, the two of them end up fighting.
Have the courage to...
After defeating Lemon, Ladybug deliberately contaminates Lemon's bottle of mineral water with a sedative so that when Lemon regains consciousness, he will drink it. Ladybug then informs Maria that there is another hitman on the train who is responsible for killing White Death's son. After Ladybug leaves, Tangerine arrives and wakes Lemon up. Lemon tells Tangerine that Komar's killer is neither Ladybug nor the person who stole the money suitcase. At that moment, the train stops at the second station. Tangerine is required to get off and meet White Death's men, convincing them that the mission is proceeding as planned. Lemon also pretends to move Komar's body to make it appear as though everything is under control. When the train departs again, Tangerine accidentally encounters Ladybug and immediately engages him in a fight. Tangerine believes Ladybug is the one who stole his suitcase. Their battle causes the emergency door to open, and both of them nearly fall out of the train before managing to pull themselves back inside. In the middle of the fight, White Death suddenly contacts Tangerine and demands to see both the suitcase and Komar at the next stop. If Tangerine refuses, White Death threatens to kill everyone on the train. Knowing that Komar is already dead and the suitcase is still with Ladybug, Tangerine asks for Ladybug's help to impersonate Lemon while carrying a fake suitcase. In short, they disembark at the next station and tell White Death's men that the mission is going smoothly. To convince them, Ladybug accidentally opens the suitcase and discovers it is filled with clothes. They quickly rush back onto the train before the thugs can attack them. At the next stop, Ladybug decides to get off the train, but Tangerine stops him, saying the situation is not yet resolved. As the train is about to depart again, Ladybug deliberately kicks Tangerine off. Tangerine then jumps onto the roof of the train and smashes a window to get back inside. In another carriage, the prince and Yusakamura instinctively retrieve the suitcase that Ladybug had hidden. The prince places explosives inside it as a second trap in case she fails to kill White Death with the gun. After setting the bomb, the prince and Yusakamura leave, but they are intercepted by Lemon. The prince pretends to be taken hostage by Yusakamura, which makes Lemon concerned, causing him to shoot Yusakamura. After firing, Lemon repeatedly drinks from the mineral water that Ladybug had previously laced with a sedative. The drug takes effect quickly, and Lemon collapses unconscious. The prince then takes the opportunity to shoot Lemon in the chest and hides both Lemon and Yusakamura inside a restroom. Meanwhile, Ladybug returns to the bar carriage to retrieve his suitcase. He accidentally discovers a photo inside the wolf's jacket. The photo shows a woman named Hornet, who is revealed to be the one responsible for poisoning the wolf's wife. At the same time, Hornet appears, disguised as a train attendant. On the other side, Tangerine discovers Lemon's body in the restroom and attempts to chase down the killer. Tangerine is then contacted by White Death, who reveals that he has already bought out every last ticket in Kyoto, meaning only his own men will be on hand to kill him. At the same time, Tangerine encounters the prince and is almost deceived by her innocent appearance. Before he can kill her, Ladybug arrives and quickly engages Tangerine in a fight.
There's been a diesel.
What are you doing, you felon?
The battle ends when Ladybug accidentally shoots Tangerine in the neck, causing him to bleed out and die. Shortly afterward, the train stops at a station. Ladybug tries to force the prince off the train, but she deliberately refuses to leave, forcing him to return inside. At the same time, the elder, Yusakamura's father, boards the train. He sits near Ladybug and the prince until Ladybug becomes frightened after seeing a snake appear and bite his hand. The elder then confronts the prince, telling her that he has already sent his men to eliminate the operatives who attempted to execute Wataru. Realizing her plans have been exposed, the prince escapes while Ladybug returns to the elder. The elder then reveals his past, explaining how he once served as Minagishi's most trusted right-hand man before White Death betrayed them. In reality, the elder was Minagishi's second-in-command until White Death arrived, killed Minagishi, and also murdered the elder's wife. His arrival on the train was initially intended to assist Yusukimura and the prince, but after learning that everything is connected to White Death, he decides to personally intervene and confront him. The elder and Ladybug then approach Yusukimura and Lemon, who are both still alive. Yusukimura has only minor injuries to his abdomen, while Lemon survives thanks to a bulletproof vest on his chest. Shortly after, the train arrives in Kyoto. White Death and his men prepare to board. As White Death enters the train, the prince confronts him, and it is revealed that they are father and daughter. The prince had been seeking his attention, but White Death instead favored his son, Komar, which led her to want to kill him. White Death then takes the prince's gun, but ultimately decides not to pull the trigger and walks away from her. White Death is then reunited with Ladybug, who hands over the suitcase full of money. Here, White Death explains that everyone on the train was placed there by his own design. He reveals that he seeks revenge for his wife's death, which occurred in a car accident that was actually an assassination attempt on him. At that moment, the suitcase is opened by his men and immediately explodes.
Fate. It will control.
The blast sends both White Death and Ladybug flying back into the train. Inside the train, the elder finally confronts White Death. The two engage in a sword fight. Just as White Death is about to kill the elder, the train suddenly slows down, causing him to lose his balance. The elder takes this opportunity to stab White Death, leaving him critically wounded. However, the train then crashes into a barrier, destroying several nearby buildings. The survivors escape the wreckage, including White Death, who attempts to execute Ladybug. But Ladybug picks up the prince's gun and accidentally causes it to fire, blowing off half of White Death's head. The prince then reappears and tries to kill both Ladybug and Yusukimura, but before she can do so, she is hit and killed by a truck carrying oranges.
I am the White Death!
The film then comes to an end. So, what did you think of the movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.